Hey guys, Michelle here with My Designs in the Chaos, where it is our goal to develop, encourage, and grow your crafting talents and confidence. Tonight we're going to be making some ornaments. Let me show you what they are going to look like. They're super cute. They're little wooden blank ornaments. And with these ornaments, you could absolutely, put names and make them even more personalized. Mine are just kind of generic here, but anyways, and you can probably hear my kids in the background, just FYI, they are kind of right there playing. So if you hear something, that's what's going on. They're not in bed yet. The reason why I want to make these ornaments is because I got the Expressions vinyl mystery box, and it had all of this beautiful matching vinyl in it. And I was trying to brainstorm, what is it that I can do that will really that it matches, but it all kind of complements each other. This one that I made, you can see it's kind of like a velvet. It's the like the furry vinyl, and this one's just solid. So tonight, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through step by step how I ended up making them. So this is what I'm starting with, is a wooden blank. I got a package of, let's see, 6 of them from Hobby Lobby. And you can get these, you can order just the blanks themselves. I ended up just getting the package. They were on 50% off. I think like their Christmas stuff was 50% off or something. And so they were like $2.50 or something for, I got a bag of 6 of them, okay? So the red flocked is not glittery, but the space I'm working on is. And so all the little specks from my desk got on there, and so it looks glittery now. So it wasn't originally glittery. This is the flocked one where it's kind of like fuzzy. So the one that I'm gonna make, I already have these two. I have the buffalo check and I have the flocked one. The one that I wanna add to it is I'm going to do a fun patterned one. It's called Winter Floral. And then I also am probably gonna end up making a glitter one. I don't know if I'm gonna make the glitter one live tonight, but I'm definitely gonna do this one. Okay, so let me show you how to do this. Now, there's 2 ways. Like in crafting, y'all know my philosophy is there's really no wrong way to do stuff, right? There's a million ways to do the exact same thing. So I'm gonna show you an idea, and then I'm gonna give you a couple other ideas that you guys could also do the same thing with. So for tonight, I'm actually not using my cutting machine to make these. Now, you absolutely could use your cutting machine. You could take a picture of this and import it into your software and make a circle the exact size of this ornament. I've done that before. I'm not doing that on tonight's live. So I'm gonna show you another way that you can easily use this heat transfer vinyl. Now, I'm gonna take this ribbon off of the top just because I wanna put my own little string on there. Let me angle you guys down so that y'all can kind of see my workspace. So I'm just gonna untie that. I could also cut it just in case I wanna keep it for later. I'm gonna put that over to the side, and now I have the blank. Now, the only reason why these are a little bit tricky to use is because on one side, they're completely flat right here. On the other side, they have kind of like a little lip. Can you guys see that to give it some dimension? So when you're pressing these, you have to be careful of that lip. Now, the very first thing I'm gonna do is I have this little like shimmer metallic paint, and I'm just using my little paintbrush. I'm gonna put a little bit on here, and I'm going to put some metallic paint right on the top of that ornament, just so that it kind of makes it look like an ornament topper. You could do silver, you could do black. There's lots of different colors you could do. Again, I'm just here to give you guys some ideas so that you can take the inspiration and run with it. But I'm just painting right at the very top. These blanks are great because you can put names on them. You could put, there's a ton of stuff you could do, and they were really super cheap. Okay, so that's step number 1, is I'm just painting this top. It doesn't have to be all the way down. You can paint it down a little further if you want, just to make sure it covers it. But that's just so that it looks like an ornament topper. Now, from here, you're gonna wanna make sure that that paint is dried. And then once it's dried, all you have to do is you're just gonna kind of hold your ornament like this on your piece of paper, on your piece of vinyl. You could do this with paper too, absolutely. You could do this with paper. So I didn't even think of that, but you could absolutely do this with paper. And then I just want to make sure I get that little I don't want this part on my ornament. So see, I'm just kind of like lining it up on the back. Y'all know I'm not an exact measurer. And then I'm going to just trim around it. So I'm just going to kind of approximately trim close to my blank. It does not have to be exact because I'm going to show you how to trim off the rest of it once you get it all pressed. So I'm just trimming around. Again, these, don't worry too much about getting it where that lip is exactly because we're gonna cover that up at the very end. Isn't this pattern vinyl gorgeous? And I got all of these in the mystery box from Expressions Vinyl, so it all kind of goes together. Like I'll put these here so y'all can see that checked and the flocked and all those. Okay, so we've got one side and now we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so, and I'm just gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna hold it up and I'm gonna cut the second circle. And again, like I mentioned earlier, there's always more than one way to do this. You could absolutely take a picture of it and have your cutting machine cut the exact circle. You could even just have it type in, it says, it has the exact measurements on here, so you could make that exact measurement circle in your software and you wouldn't have to cut like this. I was just being lazy and didn't want to have to like open up my cutting software. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use these pieces of vinyl, which is why I'm just cutting it with my scissors. So, you know, like I always say, there's no wrong way to do it. Okay, so now I've got an approximate size for both the front and the back. And now it's time for me to actually press these onto my ornament because these are heat transfer vinyl. So let me angle you guys this direction so that y'all can see my press over here. Okay, so I'm gonna move this way to my press. Okay, so I have both sides of my ornament cut, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to press one side at a time. So I'm just going to line it up. So like see when it lined up, so it looks like the ornament topper is on there. And then I have my pressing pillow on my actual press. The reason why I have my pressing pillow on there is because it has that little dent and I want it to kind of sink down into the press. So I'm gonna put that right there. And then I'm just gonna set my ornament onto my press. And keep in mind that's heat transfer vinyl. And then I'm gonna take my, this is like my Teflon sheet, and I'm going to place it on top. And then I'm just going to, if I can get that to stay. Normally I have it with magnets onto the top of my press, but my kids, when the press is off, they like to play with my magnets. And I'm just gonna press it for the full 15 seconds. Okay, so it's gonna look a little weird right now, and it's going to hang off the back. Let's see if y'all can kind of see that. It's gonna look kind of weird, and it's gonna hang off the back. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to peel off the carrier sheet. So let me peel this off now. I can get it started here. And I'm just gonna peel off that carrier sheet. And the sides, they're not hanging on to anything, so they're gonna kind of like go up a little bit. They're just kind of flopping around, and that's totally okay because we're gonna actually trim those off. So now we've got this on there. I'm gonna give it one more press just to make sure that heat transfer vinyl is attached to the wood. Sorry, it's like so awkward to have to like turn my back towards y'all. If y'all have questions too, you're more than welcome to ask. And I'm just pressing it one more time, just like you would for any kind of normal heat transfer vinyl. Now I've got this pressed, and now I'm gonna trim off the edge before I press the other side. So let me angle y'all down and y'all can see how I'm going to do that. I'm gonna kind of press this vinyl down, and you kind of want to let it cool a little bit before you completely cut it all off. And you could use scissors to trim it. Sometimes though, when you're trying to trim the heat transfer vinyl, after it's like, it gets kind of like mushy. It almost like it's a weird material. So sometimes scissors don't work depending on how sharp your scissors are. So what I like to use is this X-Acto knife. And all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to go around the edge here of my ornament. Here we go. Just to trim off that extra. And like I said, you could measure it so that it's exact and then you don't have to worry about doing this. I just was too lazy to get my cutting machine out and measure it in my software and do all that. So I'm just cutting it like this. It's probably the same amount of time both ways, to be honest. But I always like to show y'all lots of different options. Okay. And then, once you've got it trimmed, here we go. We're gonna trim all these extra little pieces off, and then we're gonna press the other side as well. Make sure this one is just cut off. There's one more little piece right there. And then there we go. Oh, there's one right up here at the top too. Okay, so now I've got it completely on the ornament. But anyway, so now I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side with my heat press. I'm gonna take that other little piece that I cut out and I'm going to stick it on here and I'm just gonna do the exact same thing. Now, with this side, I want to tell you guys, because there's that little lip there, you want that little lip to stick out on the edge of your heat press. If you don't put that on the edge of your heat press, this whole section of your design will not stick. So you've got to make it where that little lip kind of sticks out on the edge of the heat press. Yes, this is heat transfer vinyl. Yes. And you can do this with adhesive vinyl too. It's just I had the heat transfer, which is why I'm using it. And so you're gonna do the same thing. You just press it down there and then you're gonna peel off the carrier sheet just like you did on the other side. And you don't have to do it on both sides. You could always do the pattern on one side and then you could do the pattern on one side and then a name on the other or something like that. Let me grab that carrier sheet off. I'm gonna press it one more time so it'll come off of there a little easier. If your carrier sheet doesn't release, then you know you need to press it a little bit longer. Yeah, I think you could use an iron. I don't see why not. I'm gonna let it cool just for a second. And then we're gonna peel off that carrier sheet on there. Get it going. That's probably like the hardest part about the whole process is grabbing that carrier sheet once it's actually like attached. Okay, so I just used the X-Acto knife and I trimmed a little corner of it and now it's peeling very nicely. Can you guys see that? There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna press it one more time because it's heat transfer vinyl. Okay, so then we've got the other side and now I'm gonna trim it again. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing and I'm just going to trim around the outside using my little X-Acto knife. I'm gonna cut off all that extra vinyl that I don't need, and you could have cut it off when the carrier sheet was on there. That's an option too. It's totally up to you on whatever works and whatever you think is the easiest. I'm just trimming mine as I go here. Trim all that stuff, that extra off so that it looks nice and round on the circle. There we go. So once you have your both sides of your heat transfer vinyl on there, and this one, there we go. Okay, so now I've got both sides. You see one side and two side. And now it's time to just put our cute little bow or our ribbon on here. Okay, so here we go. Here's our, these are the two we've already done, and I'm just gonna add this ribbon on here. Let's see. Do it like this, and then I'm going to dovetail this edge of this ribbon just so that it looks kind of nice right there. Has a nice little tail on the end. And this is just optional. It's just to kind of like finish it off. And then I'm going to twist it around a little bit to give it kind of like a little bow. And then I'm going to put some hot glue right here in the middle. So y'all know I've got to get, it's on my Christmas list, is one of those wireless hot glue guns. So I'm just gonna put a big old thing of hot glue right here in the middle. There we go. And then I'm gonna take that bow and just kind of twist it. I don't even have to put a wire on it. I'm just twisting it because I'm using it with hot glue. And then I'm gonna put it right down there in the middle. And again, y'all know I'm no bow maker, so I just kind of am making do with the bows. And then while that is continuing to dry, I have this little twine, and we're gonna make a little bow so that all three of these match. So let me just cut off a little bit of here, this twine. And then make a little bow. Here we go. Put these. And then I'm gonna trim the ends so it's not too like crazy long. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of glue. So there, I've got my little bow. Got my cute little bow, and I'm gonna stick that right up here on the top with some hot glue. There we go. And let that dry. Yeah, you know, it's something different to use your pattern vinyl for, and you could totally get a theme. Like I said, I have like the flocked and the buffalo check and the glitter. You can absolutely get a whole theme going for whatever color your tree is, and it would be super fun. And you could do like names or something on the other side, on the back if you wanted to, or you could just leave them like a completely solid color. And then you've got one last thing you have to do, because you've got to make a little, make sure that's on there good. You've got to make a little rope for it to hang by, right? So let me scooch that over. And now I'm going to trim off a little rope here and put it through the little hole, because remember I cut the red one off, and tie it. Here we go. And then I'm going to just trim the edges of this off so you can't really see them. And then boom, look at how cute that little ornament turned out. And that's all with heat transfer vinyl. So now I've got all of these super cute, like this one is flocked for those of you guys who were here earlier. I've got like these matching little ornaments, and this one is like the buffalo plaid, and you can do it all with heat transfer vinyl. Now you could absolutely also do this with adhesive vinyl. It doesn't have to be heat transfer, but I wanted to show you guys that you can do it with heat transfer too. Sometimes you don't have to put names and things, just the patterns themselves are super fun. So if you enjoyed this, make sure that you show us some love. I really appreciate it. And if you end up making ornaments like this, make sure that you tag us, because I want to see. Y'all have a wonderful evening. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.